I feel like everyone is entitled to at least one very hot take in their ranking of the Alien franchise. And as I have been living and breathing Alien over the past 6 weeks leading up to Alien Romulus, because we did a retrospective on my podcast, I think I've discovered mine. But after revisiting these and watching a couple of them for the very first time, I have a newfound appreciation for all the alienisms of silly characters and different types of XYZ morphs, said creatures being defeated with the vacuum of space. But I especially really realized how Alien has been, at least in the mainstream, very ahead of its time in exploring themes of gender, religion, bodily autonomy, artificial intelligence. It's honestly hard to say that there is an outright bad Alien film. However, they can't all be number one. So let's rank the now 7 canon Alien films after seeing Romulus. And of course, right now, let me know your rankings in the comments. I love seeing people's rankings of the Alien films. There's so much variety. I love seeing which ones people gravitate towards. But of course, at the end of the day, my ranking is perfect and correct. So without further ado,
this is rumor control. Here are the facts.
Starting off in last place at number 7, I have Alien Romulus. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people have been loving Romulus. I just did a full-length review for it, so we won't get too deep into it, but I made it clear there that I don't think this movie is bad. I just think it's the least interesting of the franchise, which is a bummer. Because it is largely a mishmash of other Alien films, the thematic elements are sort of a mishmash as well, and even if it's competently crafted, the cinematography and blend of CGI and practical effects are all stunning, and it has some fun moments, I was just left unsatisfied. Maybe it will grow on me over the years. That seems to be happening with a lot of the films in this franchise with people. If you loved it, that's amazing. But for now, it is my number 7. At number 6, what do you get when you combine a presumably very horny Frenchman directing a Joss Whedon script? Well, it's weird. Alien Resurrection avoids being last by, like, the skin of its teeth. I know some people who will be appalled that this isn't in last place, but I also know some, like, die-hard defenders of Alien Resurrection, and honestly, I can't say that I don't get it. I don't hate the idea of corporate greed literally bringing Ripley back from the dead after Alien 3. I think the direction by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who did Amelie, is really unique and spunky. I don't even hate the adorable little baby Xenoman at the end, and I love how he dies. Can you imagine being like Space Force disemboweled? It is one of the gnarliest things to happen in the entire franchise. And they give him like anime crying eyes. Ripley is basically a superhero. The scientists are hot for the xenomorphs. Ron Perlman is shooting up spiders. I don't know, guys. I feel like you just have to appreciate how batshit silly it is, but I also wasn't around for the outrage that happened when it came out, and maybe I'm just able to take it not as seriously. I could certainly do without the Joss Whedonisms, though. That man has done something really bad. I just don't know what it is yet. And I really think, I mean, given I love Ripley, but I really think that Sigourney Weaver, despite how much she's loved, is still undervalued as a reason why the Alien franchise works and is as big as it is. I don't care how bad or meh these movies got. She has such insane star power and just always brings something provocative. I think that David is the only other character in the franchise that threatens to even be in her orbit. And that brings us to my number 5 pick, Prometheus. We're getting into prequel territory now. People go very hard for both Prometheus and Covenant, and I really love that Ridley Scott returned to the franchise and challenged what an alien film can actually be. His misanthropic assertion that if we did have a god or creators, they would hate our guts, it is something that I am enthusiastically on board with, and the whole film is teeming with creators and creations and lines like, "Don't we all wish our parents were dead?" and Holloway telling David, "We created androids just because we could." The concept is inherently fascinating to us. Who doesn't wonder where we come from or what our purpose is? And I know a lot of people were disappointed, maybe for that exact reason, that some threads don't get seen through and some questions go unanswered. And I do think the big bummer about Prometheus is that it feels incomplete. It has some great bits in it, though. The scene of Shaw in the med pod is one of the best scenes in the franchise, and this might have the best cast in the entire franchise. I mean, Michael Fassbender, Guy Pearce, Noomi Rapace, Logan Marshall Green, Charlize Theron. Idris Elba, Sean Harris, Benedict Wong, Patrick Wilson for some reason. It feels underwhelming to me compared to the heights of other Alien films, but Prometheus is a neat little trip. I like it. At number 4, though, I have Alien Covenant, to me, the superior of the two prequel films. Though Covenant is kind of where I started to ask myself if these two prequel films would be better if they weren't beholden to the Alien franchise. Because now we're looking at AI and religion and the origins of man, and the xenomorph / this black goo becomes a bit of a stand-in for weapons of war. David is doing experiments and committing genocide, the neomorph, the protomorph. It's just kind of a lot. But Covenant goes above Prometheus for me because even if it feels a little bit more disjointed with the parts that are adhering to the standard Alien formula and then the more novel parts with David, what Ridley Scott is exploring is so complex and ambitious, I still take a lot away from it. David is such an awesome character, and Covenant has a mean streak with the violence too. Like, it is arguably the most brutal in the franchise overall, and I love the medbay scene. It's kind of like, it feels like a zombie movie or something. I'm really bummed that there's no active plan to make the third film in this prequel trilogy, but maybe one day. If you are one of the people who has Covenant or Prometheus in your top 2 or 3 spots, I support you. I think they're very cool movies. Now we're on to my number 3 slot, and this is where I might lose some people. I love Alien 3, and I'm consistently shocked to see it in the bottom 1 or 2 slots of people's rankings. I know it has this reputation of even the director himself, David Fincher, hating it, and people don't like that they kill off Newton Hicks in the opening credits. There's no denying that the CGI is god-awful, but I'm sure them apparently trying to suit up a real dog to do it would have looked worse. Alien 3, to me, is the Alien franchise's vampire movie. Not only is it stunningly gorgeous and grimy and bleak. Like, are you kidding me with these visuals? And I'm kind of a sucker for religious allegories as it is, but I genuinely really love this direction for Ripley's arc and how she functions as this Christ figure on a prison planet populated with society's greatest sinners who have, as she puts it, found religion at the ass end of space. And she still makes this ultimate sacrifice for them and humanity by killing this creature living up in the rafters and ending the cycle of empty corporate promises. Or, you know, at least trying to before they rip her DNA from the grave in Resurrection. Charles Dance as Clemens, one of my favorite characters in the franchise. Charles S. Dutton is phenomenal in this movie. I don't care that David Fincher doesn't like it. If anything, it's a testament to his abilities as a director, even back then, to bring it to life like this. And despite all the rewrites and all of that drama, it was still written by guys who worked on The Warriors, The Hunt for Red October, The Parallax View. Great movie. So it is just very suited to things that I like in film. And it was always in my number 3 slot, but I did watch the assembly cut this past week, which came out like several years after the movie initially released, and it is better. Like, I can confirm it is significantly better. It's 30 minutes longer. It feels like an actual complete picture. Conversations are longer. There are little side plots that have been completely cut out. So my pitch is that if you hate Alien 3 or there were some things about it that you thought didn't feel quite right, I really recommend checking out that longer cut. But no shame, I love Alien 3. But now we reach the greatest impasse. We might as well talk jointly about Alien and Aliens. Now don't get it twisted. These are both 5-star films in my book. I wish I could say that they're tied, but that's coward talk. A lot of this comes down to personal preference. They're both very different films from two master filmmakers. James Cameron's tech fetishist Vietnam War allegory or Ridley Scott's flawless gothic slasher in space. I have a funny anecdote from a tweet that I tweeted after I rewatched these where I said that I might be entering the era of my life where I like Aliens more than Alien. And someone clocked me so bad, like I couldn't believe this. They responded and they said, okay, so you're either 15 or 25. And I shit you not, that was less than 2 weeks before I turned 25. So they were right. They were right about me. And you know what? I'm gonna lean into it. I am currently just really into like the hopeful actioner approach from James Cameron. So I'm going to rank Alien at number 2 and Aliens at number 1. And then when I turn 26 or the next Alien film comes out, I can come back and tell everyone I realized how wrong I was, my frontal lobe developed, and rank Alien at number 1. I will concede that I think Alien is absolutely the better movie. Again, I love both. I'm just trying to follow my heart with the ranking. And I also just really love Ripley Ripley as a female character. I mean, I said that. It's very obvious. And I like the maternal role that she takes on. We just get a little bit more of her than we do in Alien, which I enjoyed rediscovering since I'm a little older now and she's a character that I relate to. James Cameron is a giant softie at the end of the day, and it's kind of funny in the midst of what is pound for pound probably the bleakest popular franchise ever made. The good news overall is that rankings are fake and we can all watch both these movies and enjoy them whenever we want. But there you have it, my full ranking of the 7 canon Alien films. Again, we did a retrospective on my podcast and did an in-depth discussion on each individual film. Our Romulus episode is also dropping tomorrow if you want to check that out. But thank you for watching. If you made it this far, again, please let me know your rankings in the comments, why you love the Alien films that you do. Don't forget to like and subscribe and keep an eye out for more videos soon. This is Sydney, last survivor of the Nostromo, signing off.